Dear you, I'm writing to you from a version of yourself who remembers exactly when you started feeling unseen, even while standing right in front of the people you cared about. It didn't happen all at once. It began quietly, almost gently, like a soft dimming of light around you. At first, you brushed it off whenever your voice was talked over, or when someone forgot the things that mattered to you, or when you tried to share something personal and the moment slipped away unnoticed. You told yourself it wasn't important. You told yourself you were overreacting. You told yourself others had it worse, so you should stay silent. But I remember the first time it genuinely stung. You had something on your heart, something honest, something fragile, and you tried to express it, not dramatically, not loudly, just softly. But no one really listened. They nodded, or they half smiled, or they changed the subject as if nothing had been said at all. And in that tiny moment, a small part of you faded. You began to wonder if speaking up even mattered. From that day forward, you learned how to blend in even more. You played the supportive friend. You became the reliable presence. You listened deeply, asked questions, remembered details, held space for everyone. But rarely did anyone turn to you and ask, "And how are you doing?" Really, and the truth. You didn't expect them to. You got used to the idea that your role was to understand others, not to be understood. You convinced yourself that invisibility was safer, that if no one noticed your pain, no one could reject it. I remember watching you try to shine in quiet ways, sharing pieces of your creativity, your personality, your dreams, but feeling discouraged when those moments were overlooked. I remember how your chest tightened every time you felt excluded from a conversation or forgotten in a group. I remember how you tried to shrug it off, but the ache stayed with you. You weren't wrong for wanting to be seen. You weren't asking for too much. You simply wanted to exist in a way that made you feel real, valued, known. I see you. I saw you then. And every moment you felt unseen mattered more than you ever allowed yourself to admit. Feeling unseen isn't just about the world overlooking you. It is about how those experiences shaped your inner world. You learned to minimize yourself in ways so subtle you didn't even realize you were doing it. You became quieter in conversations. You hesitated before sharing your thoughts. You waited for the perfect moment to speak, only to watch that moment pass by. You started to believe that your feelings were background noise in everyone else's story. And yet, deep down, something inside you wanted more. A desire so human, so simple. To be understood, to be heard, to be acknowledged without having to fight for attention. But life taught you early that attention wasn't given to you freely. Maybe you grew up around people who were too busy or too loud or too self-involved to notice the depth inside you. Maybe your quietness was mistaken for indifference. Maybe your sensitivity was misunderstood as weakness, so you adapted. You adjusted your voice. You shrank your needs. You wore a calm exterior to mask the parts of you that felt ignored. But here's the truth: your past self wishes you knew sooner. You didn't go unseen because you lacked something. You went unseen because people often mistake gentleness for simplicity, silence for emptiness, and quiet presence for insignificance. They didn't understand that you were full of thoughts, dreams, questions, fears, stories, so much richness that you kept tucked beneath the surface because you weren't sure the world would welcome it. And the longer you felt unseen, the harder it became to believe that visibility was something you deserved. You learned to give without expecting anything back. You learned to stay in the background. You learned to survive on the fringes of connection. But you were never meant to live in the shadows of your own life. To feel unseen is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of how deeply you long for meaningful connection. It's a reflection of the emotional depth you carry. It's a reflection of the softness you've held on to despite the world overlooking you. You are not invisible. You never were. You simply needed someone to look closely enough. And I'm here now, from your past, reaching forward to tell you what you deserve to hear all along. You matter. Every piece of you matters. Now I'm writing to the version of you reading this today, the you who has carried years of being overlooked, misunderstood, or unnoticed. I want you to know you are stepping into a moment in your life where everything can change. You no longer have to wait for someone else to finally see you. You can begin seeing yourself with the clarity and compassion you've always deserved. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to become someone loud or dramatic. You don't need to abandon your softness to earn attention. Your presence is meaningful by itself. Your thoughts have weight. Your emotions hold truth. Your quiet strength is not invisible, it is profound. There are people ahead who will recognize you without you having to ask. People who will lean in when you speak. People who will notice the small things about you. People who will make you feel seen in ways you didn't know were possible. But before those people arrive, something even more important must happen. You must step into the light of your own life. Start speaking even if your voice trembles. Start sharing even if it feels unfamiliar. Start taking up space even if you've been conditioned to shrink. You belong in the places you stand. You deserve to be part of the conversations, the connections, the expressions of life that once seemed meant for others. Imagine yourself standing in warm light, soft, steady, gentle. And imagine your past self walking toward you, eyes filled with relief, whispering, "You finally see yourself. That's all I ever wanted." Let that truth settle in your chest. You are allowed to be visible. You are allowed to be chosen. You are allowed to be important. You are allowed to be deeply, undeniably seen. Your journey is no longer about disappearing. Your journey is about emerging fully, honestly, beautifully. And as you move forward, remember, the world didn't overlook you because you were unworthy. It overlooked you because you were meant to discover your worth from within first. Take a breath now. Let it soften the tightness in your heart. Let it remind you that you are here, present, real, and you deserve to be seen sincerely. You.